ಹಲೋ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು ಆರ್ಡಿ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಟಾಪ್ 10 ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಿ ಯು ಸಿ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ನೌ. ದ ಕಂಪೌಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ sodium methoxide. What is the formula sodium methoxide? Sodium Na plus. Methoxide. Methyl oxide. Methyl is a CH3 oxide. Methyl alcohol is a CH3OH, so it is oxide is O minus. Okay, which can also be written as the CH3O minus Na plus we can write. Now here in all these cases they are given benzene ring attached the chlorine, so they are the haloarenes. Haloarenes, and these haloarenes attached to the electron withdrawing group NO2 group. That means, suppose there is an alkyl chloride aryl halide, we expect the nucleophile. Here, nucleophile is a CH3O minus. Okay, and this nucleophile will attack the carbon atom, and we'll expect the chlorine to go out. That is, sodium chloride is formed, so we get ROMe plus sodium chloride. Correct? Now, generally, whenever there is a benzene ring attached to the chlorine atom, so nuclearly substitution reactions are not easy. There are reasons. One of the reason is lone pair involved in the resonance. As a result, we get the double bond character like this. Correct? You must have studied in the syllabus. Correct? So it is not easy to break this carbon chlorine bond. But if there is an electron withdrawing group, okay, on the benzene ring, they can increase the reactivity towards the nucleophilic substitution reaction. Or as the number of NO2 group goes on increases, and preferably at the orthene para position, so that chlorine atom can be easily replaced and can substitute by the methoxyrion. Therefore, this is the answer. If I take this as the A, B, C, and D, answer is option number 3. Okay, C is the answer. Okay, fine. That clear? Question number 2. Consider the following reaction: ethyl chloride, silver cyanide, and solvent is given, ethyl alcohol, and X is the major product. Dilute alcohol is given. Okay, ethyl alcohol C2H5Cl. Now we have got AgCN. Ag is attached the carbon nitrogen triple bond through the covalent bond. Okay, so the nucleophilic center is the nitrogen atom. Nitrogen atom attack the carbon atom, and the Cl goes in the form of the silver chloride. So that we are going to get a CH3, CH2. This is nothing but C2H5, and we have got NC. Okay, right? Isocyanide we are going to get. Question is, what is true for X? We'll go for all the option. It gives a propanoic acid on hydrolysis. Suppose I break this bond. So we are going to get is CH3, CH2, and corresponding amine we are going to get. And this side we are going to carboxylic acid, one carboxylic acid, one carbon atom is the formic acid. Okay. Suppose we had got like a carbon nitrogen triple bond, break the bond. Finally, we are going to get carboxylic acid and the amine part, that is ammonia in this case. So if you see this structure here, this is the ethylamine, not the propionic acid for isocyanide. It has the ester group. It doesn't have the ester group. It has got isocyanide, correct product. Nitrogen is linked to the ethyl carbon, correct. Nitrogen is attached to the ethyl carbon is a correct statement. It has cyanide group. No, it has not, doesn't have cyanide group. It has the isocyanide group. So therefore, statement 3 is the correct answer. So option number B is the answer. Clear? Right? Question number 3. The product of acid catalyzed hydration are 2-phenyl propene. Now, propene is an alkene. So, it add now the water in the presence of the acid, hydration of acid. Okay, so hydration of alkene in the presence of the acid. So, always you have to follow Markovnikov rule. Okay, Markov. Let me write the structure of 2-phenyl propene. 2-phenyl propene, carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3. Propene, double bond should be there. 2-phenyl, on second carbon atom, there is a benzene ring. Correct? So, remaining valence should be satisfied by the hydrogen. So yeah, there is a CH2. Okay. Now we have to add water molecule. Let me add H plus and OH minus. Overall addition is nothing but water molecule according to Markovnikov's rule. The positive part of the reagent gets attached to the double bonded carbon containing more number of hydrogen atom, and the negative part of the reagent gets attached double bonded carbon containing lesser number of hydrogen atoms. So if we are going to get CH3, COH, then attach the benzene here, right? And then it is single bond CH3. So carbon number 1, carbon number 2, and carbon number 3. So without the benzene, it is a 2-propanol, propan 2-ol, with the benzene 2-phenyl propanol, 2-phenyl 2-propanol. So it is a 2-phenyl propan 2-ol, option number C, correct? Let's move on to the next question. The question is a iodoform reaction answered by all except, that means one of the option compound does not give the iodoform test. Remember, for the iodoform reaction, compound must contain CH3, C double bond O group, and any other R group. Like this should be there. It can be CH3, C double bond OH, or it can be CH3, C double bond O, any other group, maybe ethyl, methyl, propyl, or benzene, whatever. Or if it is alcohol, alcohol must contain CH3, CHOH group, like this, any other R group. Because when I say iodoform reaction, generally we make use of sodium hydroxide and iodine for iodoform reaction. Or in general, alloform reaction, sodium hydroxide and halogen. So it can be chloroform, bromoform, iodoform. Now, this is the oxidizing agent. Remember, this is the oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. So what will happen now? If there is an alcohol, this type of alcohol, they are getting oxidized to give corresponding aldehyde ketone. So in this case, we are going to get a CH3, then C double bond O and R. Remember this one. Okay. So alcohol can also answer, or the aldehyde or ketone can also answer, provided the specific groups are there. Methyl ketone like this, or CH3CHOI should be there, that in case of alcohol. Now we'll find out. In case of option number A, there is a CH3C double bond OH, correct? So it can answer the iodoform reaction. So during iodoform reaction, we get iodoform CHI3, and this will be oxidized to give corresponding sodium salt to the carboxylic acid. That's okay, fine. Okay. So first one can answer. Okay. Now we have find out does not answer. Second one we have option number B, we check. Option number B. So we have got CH3, CH2, and CH2H. These are primary alcohol. And primary alcohol should be oxidized to give in the presence of iodoform reagent corresponding aldehyde CH3, CH2, and CHO. But we can't see CH3CO together because there is in between CH2 group here. They cannot answer. Okay, so this should be the answer. Option number B should be the answer because this cannot answer the test. Let's see other options also. C option. Okay, so we have got CH3, CH. This is a OH here. Then there's a CH2, then COH. If there's an alcohol, they should be oxidized to give. This is a secondary alcohol now, correct? So it should be oxidized to give CH3, C double bond O, CH2, and COH like this, correct? So we have got methyl keto compound can answer iodoform reaction. Option number D, if we take option number D, just a minute. Option number D. So in the option number D, we have got CH3, CH2. This is a primary alcohol. Primary alcohol should give out aldehyde, and the corresponding aldehyde is CH3, C double bond weight. So there is a CH3CO together. Can answer the iodoform test. So which cannot answer? Option number B cannot give the iodoform test. Right? Question number 5. The reagent best suitable for the following transformation is. Now see the structure here. What is the change? The change is taking place only at this position, correct? That is the CO become CH2. See, C double bond O. Keto group has become only the CH2 group. This is the reduction. There are two types of reduction. One is called as the Clemenson's reduction. Clemenson's reduction. And other one is the Wolff-Kishner reduction. And second one is the Wolff-Kishner reduction. Correct? Right. Now see here. In the option here, they are given actually reagent for the Wolff-Kishner reduction. Correct? Hydrazine and KOH. Second one is actually for Clemmensen reduction, zinc, amalgam, and the HCl. What about the hydrogen nickel? Hydrogen nickel can convert, okay, double bond into the single bond, okay, right? And also can convert sometimes the keto compound in the alcohol, okay. Now, sodium borohydride can convert, keto compound to the alcohol. Okay, so these are out. Option C and option D are out. The remaining is A and B. So we cannot use a HCl here. Okay, in this reaction, because suppose there is a alcohol like this, suppose we make use of the acid medium like HCl, what will happen? Dehydration takes place. This the nuclear will attack the R groups, will get alkyl chloride. So see here in the reaction, OH group has not changed. That means we should not make use of HCl. Suppose we make use of HCl, then we get a chloro compound. Okay, so option number B is not possible. So you have to make use of the only the basic medium for the conversion here. Okay, only when there is a acid sensitive group, we cannot make use of Clemmensen reduction. Okay, so the answer is option number A, Wolff-Kishner reduction. Next question. Acetic acid reacted with the lithium aluminum hydride, then copper, then dilute sodium hydroxide. Acetic acid is a carboxylic acid, correct? Carboxylic acid we have got. And lithium aluminum hydride is the strongest reducing agent. Remember, strongest reducing agent. And whenever strongest reducing agent is the carboxylic acid, directly converted to alcohol. So introduce hydrogen, there we get to CH3, CH2OH. So we are going to get a primary alcohol. Then we are make use of copper and heat at 300 degrees centigrade. Copper for the alcohol act as a dehydrogenating agent. Dehydrogenating agent. Removal of hydrogen. What is removal of hydrogen? Either removal of hydrogen or removal of the oxygen, but oxidation. So it undergoes oxidation. Actually, it is a dehydrogenating process, but overall change is the oxidation. So the alcohol, primary alcohol will become now CH3, C double bond OH. That is aldehyde become. Okay, that is CH3, CHO, correct? Aldehyde, two carbon atoms. Then they are mentioned, these are dilute sodium hydroxide. Remember, whenever come across aldehyde ketone chapter, and whenever there comes to dilute sodium hydroxide or constant sodium hydroxide, remember two reactions. One is the aldol reaction, and one is the Cannizaros reaction. Cannizaros reaction. Now, for aldol reaction, there must be alpha hydrogen atom, and for Cannizaros reaction, there should not be alpha hydrogen atom. Now, this compound, with respect to function group alpha, for function group aldehyde group, we have got alpha carbon atom, alpha hydrogen atom. Correct? Therefore, this should undergo aldol condensation. Aldol. So they give an aldol here. Okay? Right? Clear? So I'll not write the product here. Product is not required. So remember aldol. Clear? B is the answer. Question number 7 in the reaction. Okay. So started with the, let me write down again. So there's a benzene attached to CH3. Then there is a C double bond O and NH2. This is amine chapter. Okay. Then there is a sodium hydroxide and bromine. Okay. And there is a second reagent. We'll use that later. This is the first reagent. Correct. This is the amide. Amide is given. And then we have got here bromine and sodium hydroxide. So try to recall, it is a Hofmann bromide degradation reaction. Hofmann bromamide degradation reaction. So what will happen now? We have to remove the CO group. Okay. So finally, now we are going to get the CH3 here. Then remove that CO group. We are going to get NH2. So we get a aromatic primary amine. Right. Now make the second reagent. What is the second reagent? In the second reagent, they are given, it is the benzene ring attached the C double bond O, then a Cl. So this is a benzoyl chloride. So there is a nucleophilic center nitrogen in the reactant, and they should attack the carbonyl carbon, and the side product is the HCl. So finally, we should get a benzene ring attached to the CH3, then attached to the NH. Remember, here benzene ring attached to CH3 and NH. Then I should write down the CO group and there is a benzene like this. Okay. So remember, the new group attached is a benzene with a CO group. Now see all the option. Okay. See carefully. There should be CH3, benzene, NH together and benzene and CO together. Correct. So the answer is option number C. Clear? Right? Question number 8. Considering the basic strength of amines, the aqueous solution, which has the smallest pKb value. So we have to remember, as the Kb value increases, or pKb value decreases, that is the strongest acid. Sorry, it's the strongest base, strong base it is. If the reverse way around, Kb is smaller, pKb is larger, weaker is the acid. Now, pKb is smaller. Okay, so when pKb becomes smaller and smaller with the strongest base. So you have to find out the strongest base among the three. So this is a secondary amine, aliphatic secondary amine. This is a primary amine. This is a tertiary amine. And this is the, we have got benzene ring attached to the NH2, correct? So this is aniline or benzene amine, aromatic primary amine. Remember, whenever aromatic groups are attached to NH2, they are involved in the resonance. Therefore, they are less basic in nature. So aliphatic amines are stronger base compared to aromatic amines. Okay, right? Now, they are given aqueous medium. Remember, so it is not easy to predict looking at this structure. This is always by the experimental values and the order should be set. Okay, you have to remember from the textbook. So R is equal to CH because all the alkyl groups are CH3. When R is equal to CH3, remember 213. And you can also write ammonia, compare with the ammonia. That means when R is equal to CH3, secondary amine is a stronger base compared to primary, compared to tertiary, and the aliphatic amines are stronger base compared to ammonia. Okay, we compare with the ammonia. Ammonia is a standard one because it's a Lewis base. So I find out the secondary amine. So answer is option number 8. So this is in the case of aqueous medium. Okay, remember aqueous medium. Otherwise, we have the general trend tertiary greater than secondary greater than primary for the gaseous phase. This is the aqueous medium. Clear? Question number 9. Pair of compounds which in which both compounds give positive test to the tolerance reagent. What is tolerance reagent? Tolerance reagent is ammoniacal silver nitrate solution, silver nitrate. Okay, and generally are for used for the aldehydes. It's aldehydes, and aldehydes will give rise to the silver precipitate or sometimes black precipitate. Okay, ketones do not react. Remember, ketones do not react. Now you can see here we also have got here the carbohydrate like glucose, fructose, and sucrose. Remember, sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Whenever non-reducing sugar is there, they do not react to the tolerance reagent. Remember tolerance reagent. Okay. Whereas the glucose and fructose are the reducing sugars. Reducing sugar. What are reducing sugar? Reducing sugars are those sugar which can react to the tolerance reagent. So they react to the tolerance reagent and give the precipitate, silver mirror test. Okay, right. So now both the compounds should react in the given option. Glucose will react, sucrose will not react. Glucose and fructose both will react. So option number B should be B. We'll go for D option also. Sucrose does not react, fructose reacts. Acetophenone and xenon. Acetophenone structure is CH3, double bond O, then attached to the benzene. So there is a keto compound, ketones will not react. Xenol, all is aldehyde reacts. So therefore the answer is option number B. Clear? The 10th question, the last question. Question is which of the following statement is a correct statement? Okay, you have to find out the correct statement. Okay, let us see now. All amino acids are optically active. All amino acids except glycine is optically active. Glutamic acid and all those things are given. Okay. So general formula of the amino acid is R C H N H2 and there is a COH. Correct? Right? Now, for glycine, the basic structure glycine, when R is equal to H, we have got HC. Let me split and write CH, then COOH and NH2. For optically active compound, there will be chiral carbon atoms. Here, none of the carbon contains the 4 different groups. If I take this carbon atom itself, there are 2 similar hydrogens are there. So it is not optically active. Now, if I write on R is equal to CH3, okay. So after glycine comes alanine. Alanine is a CH3, CH, then NH2, then you have got COOH. So this carbon atom, okay, is a symmetric carbon atom, chiral carbon because it attached 4 different groups. Okay. So remember, glycine is the only one amino acid which is optically inactive, does not contain chiral carbon atom. Rest all amino acids we got optically active. Therefore, answer is option number B. All amino acids except glycine are optically active. Glycine is optically inactive. Okay. So if you're watching for the first time, please do like, share, subscribe, and also please write down the comments. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.